but it was something that was deadly.
The female had visible injuries to her neck area and a burn mark from a torch on her back.
You know, and they was over there and they was for hours, and they know they busted the door, and I was just, and then when I seen the yellow tape, that was
One
scared
homeowner
me.
spotted her on surveillance images stealing presents from underneath his Christmas tree.
These are individuals who should be held accountable for their actions.
You know, you don't hit people with something like that.
The female reported to the officers that she was being held against her will and forced to consume drugs.
We want them off the streets.
A thief gunning for trouble, rifling through the car, and getting away with some very dangerous steel.
It was something that was deadly. It was something that was deadly. It was something that was deadly.
Damn!
Now YouTube censored.
I'm mad as hell right now. Yes, I am.
Viewer discretion is advised. Mama Black.
This program contains language and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
On his social media pages, Seth Mull sounds and looks like a fun-loving 30-year-old, pictured with women on the beach and showing off a well-toned physique. Tonight, authorities in eastern Pennsylvania say Mull's relationships were less charming.
The female reported to the officers that she was being held against her will and forced to consume drugs. The female had visible injuries to her neck area and a burn mark from a torch on her back. She reported that Mull had choked her to the point of passing out and raped her.
Prosecutors say that happened in this hotel near Philadelphia. Last month, a 24-year-old woman Mull had met on a popular dating app. She allegedly ended up being held as a sex slave, a case that received local news coverage, and since then, police say up to 8 additional victims have come forward. Mull being held tonight on $500,000 bond, charged with rape, strangulation, assault, false imprisonment, and drug violations.
Detectives, with the FBI's assistance, have now tracked Mull through transportation records to Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, Chicago, California, and Hawaii.
These are individuals who should be held accountable for their actions.
Chicago police tonight say they are working with Pennsylvania authorities and are asking that women here contact CPD if they had encounters with Mull.
We have to rid the society of these types of predators that prey on young girls, it's a huge problem.
Mull appears to have been acting on his own, according to the police, but there is also a far more organized network of sex traffickers operating in Chicago and across the nation. In October, an I-team investigation exposing the daughter trade, thousands of young girls being forced into a brutal lifestyle they have trouble escaping. For the victims, of course, it doesn't really matter whether it's one person or a whole network.
Grand jury indicted Billy R. Turner for the premeditated first-degree murder of Lorenzen Wright.
DA Amy Wyrick says she could not reveal much more than that about the indictment and arrest of Turner.
Wow, it's just, man, it's a shocker, It's a very shocker, like I said, a very nice guy.
People in this North Memphis neighborhood where Turner lives heard law enforcement ramming Turner's front door. This neighbor did not want to be identified.
And they was over there and they was for hours, and they busted the door, and I was just, and then when I seen the yellow tape, that what scared me.
Neighbor Tony Carroll told me Turner had a landscaping business and talked about some of his high-profile customers, including Lorenzen Wright.
Past summer, it's been a while back, he was talking about his business and, and how to, he had some high-profile customers, and one of Lorenzen Wright was one of his customers.
Police got a break in the case in November, announcing a gun discovered in a lake in Walnut, Mississippi, was the weapon used to kill Lorenzen Wright in 2010. Neighbors say Billy Turner is a wonderful man. One man even said he was a deacon in a church. This surveillance video from a Collierville convenience store shows officers from a multi-agency task force arresting 46-year-old Billy Turner as he stood at the counter. The store clerk said Turner seemed to be a nice guy who came in the store frequently.
New at 11, a Chesterfield man who once played in the NFL is going to spend 40 years in prison for cheating people out of millions of dollars. From 2009 through 2016, Merrill Robertson Jr. and a co-conspirator promised to invest people's money they raised, but instead used it to pay personal expenses. Robertson played football at LC Bird, UVA, and then briefly for the Philadelphia Eagles.
New at 9, caught on camera. Police say, well, this woman who is visibly pregnant, you see her holding her belly there, is also a bold criminal. She's been breaking into people's homes.
One homeowner spotted her on surveillance images stealing presents from underneath his Christmas tree. CBS 46 reporter Dante Renzulli is in Gwinnett County tonight with the video. Take a look.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Duluth police are looking for someone who's copying this guy's style right down to his oversized stomach. They say this woman, who's obviously pregnant and possibly due soon, is knocking on doors and breaking in when no one answers. The person who lives here told police he was out of town when she rang his doorbell, which doubles as a security camera. He was a couple hours late in seeing this video through an app on his phone, and by the time he called 911, the entire house had been ransacked. Police say the woman broke in through an unlocked window with the help of a man who managed to keep his face off camera. They think the house was originally targeted because a package was sitting outside in plain sight. We saw in a similar crime recently reported in Fairburn that it's a signal to burglars that the house might be empty.
The police department here in Duluth has these forms you can fill out in person or online to have police check your home when you go on vacation. The guy from this story normally does it that way, but this time he forgot. In Gwinnett County, I'm Dante Renzulli, CBS 46.
Also here at 5:30, weapons worry in Pembroke Pines. A crook caught here on camera stealing from a police cruiser. That thief gunning for trouble, rifling through the car and getting away with some very dangerous steals.
7's Brandon Byer live in Pembroke Pines with more. Brandon.
And Jeff Lynn, that's what has neighbors here concerned. It's what was inside that police car that was taken that has them worried, that is now on the streets.
Our main concern is we don't want that weapon on the streets.
With an AR-15 missing, the chief of police in Opelika is asking anyone with information about the burglary of one of his police cruisers to come forward. The cop car cleaned out early Tuesday morning in this Pembroke Pines neighborhood near Taft and 86th Avenue. The crook getting away with an assault rifle, lots of ammunition, and a bulletproof vest.
So if another officer or anything encounters these individuals, those weapons, we want them off the streets.
The surveillance video shows the thief coming back 3 times, in no hurry, just going through the car. It appears the doors may have been unlocked, but even more disturbing, how he somehow gained access inside the trunk.
In the police vehicles, what we've done is we've disabled the trunk from the inside. So you actually need a key to open the trunk. And we are in possession of the key and the spare key here at the police department.
One neighbor told us he double checks his doors are locked at night and would never, he says, leave a gun in the car.
He should have kind of thought about it a little bit. I mean, you know, it's just the times. I mean, you can't leave firearms in your car.
Okay, any information about that suspect that could be worth a cash reward, call Broward Crime Stoppers 954-493-TIPS, the number to call. Live in Pembroke Pines, Brandon Byer, 7.
An update for you on a story we've been following since last week. Columbia police have made an arrest in the fatal collision that killed an Eau Claire High School student last month. 19-year-old Raekwon Walker was arrested early this morning and charged with murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Police say he's accused of firing multiple shots at a vehicle, causing it to crash at the 5600 block of Farrow Road on November 21st. 17-year-old Cameron Scott was in that car and died from multiple blunt force injuries sustained in the crash. 3 other males were with Scott at the time, and they're expected to recover from their injuries. Police continue to work leads regarding the motive behind that shooting.
And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also follow us on the usual media for more and interesting information like this.
Fight their asses.